the Lord had compassion. We have a few testimonies coming through of the Lord having compassion in our time, in people who die, and some are heading the wrong way, and they're given a second chance through medical skill or whatever, and they come back and they have seen things. There are many out there. Two names come to mind right now, Howard Storm and Ian McCormack. They're both visible on YouTube, and they have seen the other side. But that's a whole field of study in itself. However, it does impact sometimes on us. And when I was a child, well, actually an adolescent, I came across the story of an English saint around the 700s or earlier, St. Brithel, who'd had this experience, but he was dead. And he was shown the other side. And what puzzled me was that he saw things that he shouldn't have seen. I was at the time a Protestant, and he was seeing purgatory as well as the other two places which were in Scripture. He was also being shown the power of the Holy Mass to get people out of there. And this made me sit up. Either it's true or it's not true. And I read on, and I found not less but more of the same thing as I looked into Catholic literature. And one of the things I came across with time was the fact that the Lord was very much speaking Catholic language, notably in the sacramental sphere and realm. He was underlining by his own miraculous language, God in action, that it wasn't just a symbol. The Lord, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, at the altar was actually performing a miracle each time. And sometimes he was proving it, just to remind people that what they were seeing was not the whole story. And I remember it was in, I think, 1969 that I came across the story of Bolsena. This priest at the altar of St. Christina, an early Christian martyr, had doubts, and the host started to bleed as he held it up for the elevation after the consecration, in which mentally he didn't any longer believe. And the blood fell on the corporal and on the marble. I read on, and I found that after reading enough, I couldn't anymore receive in the Protestant Church. This was different from what I'd been taught. It was very much the church which either is proclaiming the truth or is not. And if it's proclaiming the truth, I can't anymore ignore it and stay outside it. It's no longer a mental game, especially if, as was that situation I was in, I was heading for the pulpit. I can't give my life to a lie. Now, the Lord is keen on making us aware that actually every time we come into his presence, there is far more going on than meets the eye. He is particularly interested in the pure of heart, the simple, the little ones. And it is through a grace given to Ireland, actually, that a grace was given to the whole church, through little Nellie of Holy God, which influenced profoundly St. Pius X, and made him understand that little children are well able, and far better able, to receive the Lord with clarity of vision and above all purity of heart. And he, with his papal authority, made it possible that children too could come to the holy table and receive their King. He also wanted that that holy table be available frequently, and he invited the people of God to take and claim their heritage and receive what was there for them, not just once a month or whatever. I, this morning, was reflecting on this occasion which the Lord, His providence, has given us, to be giving the Lord to a holy child, a holy pure child coming from a very Christian family, this time for the first time, because the Lord is consoled by coming to a pure breast in a family which has the faith deeply, the faith of our fathers, from which, by the way, we have come and are no longer grateful. We have forgotten what we're doing. Now, what I came across was this, and I share it with you because it spoke to me and it may speak to you, especially the little people of whom we think on this day, as the Lord comes and claims His throne in our little heart. The children are our eyes. Look at the pattern of Catholic history. How many times has the Lord spoke to all humanity through a poor, ignorant child? Bernadette, Jacinta, the youngest saint canonized in the church, only 9 years of age when she died, who was not a martyr anyway. Francisco, her brother, their cousin Lucia, La Salette, Melanie, Maxima. I could go on and on. But this child was 6 when this happened. Her name is Eudoxia, and it was in 1903. There was a parish which was having trouble with the flock, and the parish priest invited a good missionary to try and come to his assistance and give a mission. He came, and in the morning the children would be prepared, made their first Holy Communion. In the afternoon, people came back, and in the popular style, they made the altar very ornate, about 200 candles and lights. That in the culture would draw. But the people, in practice, were switched off and went as far as to mock and talk when the preacher gave his sermon in this mission. However, this little child of 6 cried out, "I can see the child Jesus on the altar!" "Be quiet," said the preacher, and carried on. However, it didn't finish there. They had the Blessed Sacrament exposed, and the people at a certain point also started to see something. The light from somewhere became infinitely brighter than that of these 200 lights, candles around the altar, and it was quite spectacular. And these were very callous people, so they became very quiet all of a sudden. The missionary was impressed. He carried on, however, his program, and at that point invited the good parish priest to make an act of public sorrow to his flock, in case there was something in the parish. And humbly and honestly, the parish priest before the Lord got on his knees and asked forgiveness for all that might be there that might have caused upset. And then he turned towards the Blessed Sacrament, and he saw it after he'd made this confession. They carried on with the devotion, and something happened. The child Jesus, who hitherto had been in the host, grew in size and came out of it, and with his arms outstretched, embraced especially the children, who were in great numbers, as though he wanted to embrace them all in his heart and bosom. He was with fair hair, his hands were bleeding and wounded, and on his white garment there were violet flowers. The mission carried on. Work was done, and the preacher, although frail and feeble, was given force from on high, which he noticed. At the end of the week, all were there once again, and a Te Deum was sung in thanksgiving. And from the first verse, the same Lord appeared again from the Blessed Sacrament as he had at the beginning. But there was a difference. This time he was beaming. From his hands there was no more blood, and on his snow-white garment there were no violet flowers. All had been to confession. The church authorities were consulted, and the archpriest of the area came and tried to extract a denial from the main person in the equation, the little lassie of 6. She held fast, despite at one point a great bribe being given to a poor family, a lot of money if she recanted. And she blurted out in front of this prelate, "I will never sell the truth for money." And at that point, the archpriest sobbed and gave in. This was the truth. Notice, it was at the end that the Lord was without blood and without violet flowers. The parish had been cleansed. All the hearts were pure. And he beamed especially at the children. This, my friend, is our God, and this little angel is your God that you're about to receive. Treat him well, because the adults don't. He wants consolation from your pure heart. Every time you approach him, prepare it and give thanks. Why? One of the things that hurt Jesus most on this Catholic planet right now is that his grace is deflected, thrown to the winds, and this bomb of grace that we have before us is not exploded. The graces evaporate and very few are absorbed. Why? We're more interested in the football and the weather, while the Lord of hosts is in our midst.